Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another live stream. Big up to everybody who's here on this Friday afternoon. Hope we're doing well. I hope the international break is not too dragging for everybody. I hope that's not the case. I hope everybody is finding something to do to keep their just let me know what you're doing in the comment section. Just let me know what you're doing in the comment section. Good way to start off. Hope we're all doing well. Put how well you were doing and everything, and just let me know what you guys are up to. Let me know what you guys are up to on this international break. It's been a lengthy one so far since Monday. Monday, the kind of buzz of the transfer window sort of helped carry things over a little bit, but since then, it's been a bit of a drag, hasn't it? Footballing wise. Hope everything is okay. Hope everyone is okay. Like I say, let me know where you're watching from. Let me know what you guys are up to today, what you guys are going to be up to over the weekend. I'd love to get to know each and every single one of you a little bit more. Just get rid of that. There we go. Yeah, so I hope we're all good. A few topics to talk about today in terms of the world of football that we're managing to pluck out. We are going to be discussing the Daniel Levy and Tottenham situation. Big breaking news yesterday. Daniel Levy leaving his position as chairman of Tottenham Hotspur after 25 years. That's monumental news for Tottenham. Could potentially be massive for their future. Potentially. So we're going to be discussing that a little bit more. We're going to be talking Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. Seems to be some issues there. Is Pep finished? That's the big question on the agenda. Is Pep finished in the Premier League? Does he need to adapt? Have Manchester City failed him? Is he failing at City? A combination of both. Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling about that one as well. And then, of course, talk about Liverpool, the trophy success for Liverpool. What is to be expected of the Reds this season, especially after going through that phenomenal transfer window that they've just performed, smashing the British record of a transfer fee. Not once, but twice. The likes of Mamardashvili coming in, Frimpong, Kirkez, Giovanni. I'm going to butcher his name again. Giovanni Leone. Of course, along with obviously Hugo Ekitike, Alexander Isak, and Florian Wirtz. Is multiple successes on the horizon for Liverpool this season? Let me know again what you guys are thinking and feeling about all of that and much more. Anything that you guys want to throw in there as well, feel free. Like I say, as always with these videos, hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. And of course, hit up the chat as well. Get involved in the chat. Would love to know what you guys are thinking and feeling today about anything that you guys want to talk about. Preferably football related, but if not, that's cool as well. Like I say, let me know where you're watching from. Let me know what you guys are up to on this international break. And without further ado, we're going to start off with Daniel Levy. We're going to start off with Mr. Daniel Levy. Mr. Daniel Levy and Tottenham Hotspur. It's been an incredible past 24 hours for Spurs from this news dropping. I don't think anybody was expecting it. It didn't seem like anybody was expecting this news, to be honest with you. I don't know if anybody had got it any earlier than when it broke. I know Indy Kyler he put out something earlier that was basically like he heard the news on the morning or early afternoon. I can't remember which one of I think he heard something about it early afternoon, I think. And he never ran with it because he didn't think it was legit. And then obviously it turned out to be legit. And he was kind of kicking himself a little bit on that one. But at the same time, like it was crazy news because I don't think anybody was expecting it. Don't get me wrong, music to the ears of Tottenham fans, I'm sure. Music to the ears of many Tottenham fans, I would imagine. But something that I don't think anybody was predicting or anticipating. Daniel Levy, there is no doubt about it, has been a big part of the off-field success of Tottenham Hotspur in recent years over the course of his 25-year stay with the club. But on the pitch, it hasn't quite lived up to the expectation or consistency that a lot of Tottenham fans were hoping for. Now, part of that is down to the ownership, and obviously part of it is down to him. And I believe he still owns 30% of the club. So he's not gone, I don't think. But I think he is gone in terms of a football decision-making aspect of the football club. But it's monumental. It's massive. And the way that obviously Tottenham threw out that statement yesterday, it sounds as though they've made steps in recent weeks and months to begin looking towards consistent success on the pitch. They got a taste of it last season with the Europa League, and now they want more, and they want bigger, and they want better. And this just seems to be another step to be taken in that specific direction of trying to achieve that. Getting rid of Daniel Levy, for as good as what he has done off the pitch in terms of the new stadium, the F1 track, the Beyonce concerts, the boxing fights, and all of that kind of stuff. Everything that has been produced in the stadium, other than the success on the pitch, has obviously been down to the business mind of Daniel Levy. And I think on some level, Spurs fans should be at least somewhat happy about that, because that club is now set up for long-term potential. There was so much potential with that football club now. The self-sustaining, state-of-the-art stadium, training facilities that are on a brilliant level. The infrastructure there is insane. It's just not been fully reached to its full capacity, especially when you consider on the pitch success, which has been very, very minimal over the past 25 years. If they get the appointment right as to who succeeds him, and if they get the infrastructure of people right at Tottenham Hotspur, this could be monumental. Tottenham may not be seen anymore as a banter club, because the potential of the stadium, the club, and everything else is just on a different scale. It really, really is. And when you obviously consider that they've not exactly spent out of their means either, they could be set up for big success in the future. Big success in the future, in my personal opinion. Big up Marco's in the building. Hope you're doing well, my bro. What are you up to today? Lovely to have you here with us, my friend. Is Levy really gone, or will he be behind the scenes? I think he still owns part of the club. I think I remember hearing yesterday that I think he still owns part of the club. So he still will be involved in some way, shape, or form. But in terms of making footballing decisions, I think he's been removed from that particular part of the club. And rightfully so. I've been saying for years that Spurs need to get rid of this guy from making football decisions and move him on to just purely business. Make sure he because he's very good at what he does in terms of business. He is very, very good at all the business kind of stuff. He's very, very good at making sure that boxing and Beyonce and F1 and whatever else that Tottenham decide to do with their stadium. He's very good at that side of things and bringing in the money in the financial aspect. But he's just not very good with football. And even from the outside looking in, the thing that kind of made me realize that the most was the All or Nothing documentary that Tottenham did, if you remember that. The way that he spoke about football and the way that he would awkwardly talk to the likes of Mauricio Pochettino and everything, you could tell he's not a footballing guy. He's just there for the financial and money aspect. So, yeah, I don't think he's completely gone. But at the same time, in saying that, it is a positive move for Spurs. It's a positive move for Spurs. The fact that Vinay Venkat, oh Jesus Christ, Venkatesham, I am so sorry if I butchered that name. Was pulling the strings at Arsenal, and now he has a lot to say at Spurs. Does not sit right with me. It depends. I'm sure it is professional. I'm sure it's not some sort of undercover agent job to ruin Spurs. But yeah, I'm going to go along the lines of I think Spurs are going to be in for a very interesting future ahead. The big part about this was that obviously the handbrake at Spurs was seemingly the ownership and Daniel Levy. That was the big part of their handbrake, because Tottenham fans were looking at it like, we've got one of the best stadiums or the best stadium in the Premier League. We've got this, we've got that, we've got the other. We have got so much going for us off the pitch, but on the pitch, we struggle. We struggle to get transfers over the line. We struggle to get this done, that done, the other done, and we don't have as much success to hold ourselves as a traditional top six club than what we would like. Part of that is gone now. Now, whether or not it's going to be another yes man that comes in, or whether it's going to be a man that takes Tottenham to all new heights, of course, that remains to be seen. But it is going to be intriguing to see what the future holds for Tottenham Hotspur. Because, like I say, this must feel like Christmas for Spurs fans. This must feel like Christmas right now. They have gotten rid of the Antichrist in their eyes. They have gotten rid of the devil himself. I still think you have to praise Daniel Levy for his business acumen off the pitch, but I can understand why on the pitch they might not exactly be happy with his conduct over the years. I get that. But the fact of the matter is that Spurs, with their location, with the club size, with the stadium, the infrastructure, training facilities, current squad that they have as well, and even, when you consider the new head coach Thomas Frank and everything, it's interesting and exciting times. It really, really is. And if you can't see it, I'd love to know why. I'd love to know your takes on all of this. Whether you think it's a good thing, whether you think it's a bad thing. Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling. in terms of this, because I'm very much intrigued by this whole situation. I really, really am, because even though I'm not a Tottenham fan, I am still looking at this from the outside looking in and going, I think Spurs could potentially just go up another level. I really, really do think that. Whether it is going to happen or not remains to be seen, of course. Whether or not that remains to happen remains to be seen. But yeah, Spurs, man, Spurs. That's big news, and it makes it interesting as well. The aspect of when Ange Postecoglou got sacked, because there were reports yesterday stating that Daniel Levy left of his own accord, and then there have been reports out saying that he's actually been forced out himself. Now, it depends which one you believe. If you believe that he walked of his own accord, then fine, fair enough. But I don't think he would have done. I think the money aspect and everything else, the power, I think it would have been too much for him to want to just leave. Unless he genuinely just got really bored and decided to just go. But I don't think he did. I think he got pushed out. And it makes it all interesting because back when Ange Postecoglou got sacked, Daniel Levy talked about how it was a very difficult decision to replace him. It was very emotionally difficult to have sacked Ange in the first place, but said that despite the fact that we won a trophy, we need to compete on multiple fronts. He actually said that he obviously wanted the club to compete for the Premier League title. Those were the kind of things that Daniel Levy was saying in the aftermath of Ange Postecoglou being sacked, which is why they went and got Thomas Frank. And a lot of us laughed at the time. But then when you think about that and you compare it with what is being said about Daniel Levy leaving, in terms of we've taken multiple steps to ensure the long-term success of the club on the pitch rather than just off the pitch, kind of makes me think that it wasn't Daniel Levy's decision to fire Postecoglou. It was the club's. It was the ownership, the Lewis families. It wasn't probably Daniel Levy's decision to fire a manager who he may have found emotionally difficult to do so, and also to compete on multiple fronts. And maybe there's been some friction for some time. I'm sure Tottenham fans may be able to tell me if there genuinely was. And I'm sure Tottenham fans will obviously know about this subject more than a guy who's looking at it from the outside looking in. But at the same time, I'm intrigued by the whole situation in terms of that aspect. Was the sacking of Ange Postecoglou down to Daniel Levy, the club as a whole, maybe just the club? It looks like it was just the club decision. Daniel Levy probably didn't want to do it. Has there been friction there for some time? Seemingly. Why was the friction there? Potentially because the footballing decisions that Daniel Levy was making weren't exactly the best ones. I mean, look at the amount of managers that Tottenham have had over the years and look at how different each and every single one of them were. You went from Maurizio Pochettino to like Jose Mourinho to Antonio Conte to Nuno Espirito Santo to Ange Postecoglou. Not necessarily in that order, but they're five right off the bat that are all very different in their approach, all very unique in certain ways. And the way that you kind of built a Frankenstein squad of each of those managers with players from each one of those different managers together kind of stated to me that it's a case of poor decisions being made. No contingency plan, no fluency, no sort of interchange that was going to, overlap a little bit. It was simply change, different direction for another change, different direction for another change, different direction for another change. That's what it kind of struck me as anyway. And maybe the Tottenham board just kind of got bored with it. It'd be interesting to see what does happen now. Is there going to be someone who replaces him? Is there going to be new ownership as well? There is certain reports out there, certain things, certain statements that are stating that maybe the Lewis family are indeed looking to sell. Now, I don't think that they would actually put out there that they are genuinely looking to sell. But there is talk, I've seen a few videos this morning, that potentially Saudi ownership could be looking at the potential of Tottenham Hotspur. And I've been saying for the past few years that if you want a club with immense amounts of potential, look no further than Tottenham Hotspur. The potential of Tottenham Hotspur to take them from where they are now to whole new heights is simply too good of an opportunity to miss out on for anyone who has got more money than sense. More money than sense. And the Saudis have a bottomless pit of money, it seems. And if they want to throw it at Tottenham, I would be worried. I'd be scared. I'd be concerned. Because there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Tottenham Hotspur could go on to be a major player in this division, in this league, in English football, and maybe even potentially beyond that to European football. Tottenham Hotspur may no longer be the sort of banter club that we've all ridiculed them for over the years. This could be the beginning of a brand new side of Tottenham that, if anybody who has stepped back and looked at the bigger picture would have seen the potential of it being, and now that potential could become a reality. I genuinely mean that. I genuinely mean that. Big up AR is in the building. Lovely to have you here, bro. Big up to you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Let me know what you're up to, my dude. Would love to hear from you. Smash the likes up, people, and also subscribe if you're new. Love that from you, my bro. Really do appreciate it from you and every single one of you that is still supporting the channel. Absolutely incredible stuff from each and every single one of you. I'm not bold about talking about other clubs in regards good or bad points. I like talking about Liverpool fixtures and internal matters. Yeah, we'll always talk about Liverpool, bro. We'll always talk about Liverpool here, but the kind of things and content that I want to do kind of involves other clubs as well, mainly Premier League based, but there will be times where we do talk about other clubs as well. So I appreciate you stopping by, my dude. I really do. And of course, like I say, I don't want to just keep this like on one or two or three subjects. Like, honestly, hit me up with whatever you want to talk about, whether it's breaking news or whether it's news that you want to talk about, questions thrown in there. Like I say, that is what the chat is there for. It's the show. I'll always have, like, when I do these things, I'll always have subjects or a subject that is the main bulk of the conversation. But obviously, breaking news can change that. And of course, your questions can obviously change that as well. And that's what I'm completely open to, which is why I love doing these kinds of shows, because it gets you involved and hopefully it gets you interacted and intrigued by it. And hopefully you do stick around. That is obviously what the idea is with this channel, with these shows, is to get you involved and to get your thoughts, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, on any topics that maybe I've chosen to talk about, any topics that may have broke, or any topics that you guys want to talk about. So, for example, if you want to just throw in there right now, I don't know, anything like I say, we're all going to move on to Liverpool and talk about the trophy success of Liverpool and what could potentially happen this year. But let's just say that you did want to talk about other clubs, for example. Maybe you could talk about the Nuno Espirito Santo situation at Nottingham Forest, just as an example, and we'll talk about that. But like I say, it's as much shows for you guys as it is for me. But yeah, I do appreciate each and every single one of you being here. We need to sort out our midfield and defensive issues at Liverpool. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that we're going to go back in for Gahey in January, so that will help with that aspect. Hopefully, we don't get too many, or hopefully not no injuries at all between now and January, especially in that particular area. The midfield situation, I think that can last until next summer. So I think we're okay there. But I do agree with you. There are some issues. There are some things that need to be ironed out, so to speak, on that front. Yeah, I 100% agree with where you're coming from, my dude. I get that down to a T. Voldemort defeated. Absolutely. Mr. Potato Head is gone from Tottenham, at least as a chairman, anyway. After international break, Liverpool fixtures are Burnley away in the Premier League, Atletico Madrid at home in the Champions League, Everton Premier League at home, Southampton in the Carabao Cup at home, and Crystal Palace in the Premier League away from home. Yes, a mixture of fixtures there, an absolute mixture of fixtures. The Burnley one should be a formality. It's a banana skin waiting to happen, but it should be a formality for Liverpool. And hopefully it's going to be a game in which, might get our feet under the table. I know we've obviously been perfect so far this season. 3 wins out of 3, 9 points from 9, that kind of thing. But the performances haven't been amazing. So I'm hoping that will be the game in which we can score a fair few goals. We can maybe, keep another clean sheet. It's a good opportunity for that as well. But not only that as well, but get a good performance under our belts. I'm hoping that will be the case. Atletico Madrid, that's always going to be tough. We are at home in that game. So, yeah, it could be better than going away to the Wanda. But at the same time, yeah, that's still gonna be a tough game. We know that Diego Simeone, he's gonna bring it, man. He's gonna bring it. Everton at home again should be a win, but this is like their cup final. We keep saying it every year. Everton's cup finals are always the Liverpool games, and they've actually started off the season pretty well so far this season. So again, another potential banana skin for us to navigate through. Southampton EFL Cup, I'm expecting a much rotated side for that one. Maybe we get to see Leone for the first time this season. But again, it's another good opportunity. And our strength and depth this season is, pretty decent. So as much as I'm expecting a rotated lineup, it's still a good opportunity for us to go ahead and make something of that competition and maybe go one step further than what we did last year. And then, of course, Crystal Palace away from home, that's going to be tough. That is going to be a tough game. Palace start off the season really well. We know how good they are. You have the extra incentive of the Mark Gahey situation and, a lot of Liverpool fans not liking Oliver Glasner because of it. So, yeah, there's going to be an extra level of emotion in that game as well. So we shall see, man. We shall see where it takes us. But there's some interesting fixtures. Doesn't get any real easier for us, I would say. But at the same time, I am very much looking forward to seeing and testing Liverpool's strength and mentality and confidence going forward. We need to get the balance right in defence and midfield. We need to stop leaking goals and stop making stupid mistakes. I couldn't agree more. The Arsenal game proved that we can do that. The Arsenal game certainly proved that we can do that. Okay, a lot of people will say that we weren't tested properly by Arsenal's cowardice tactics, and to a level and to a degree, I somewhat agree with that. But at the same time, give us some credit. I prefer to look at it as we neutralised Arsenal rather than Arsenal neutralised themselves. because they only really had one shot on target. That was it. They had one shot on target. That was it from Arsenal. And like I say, it's proof that we can do that. Like I say, we're not amazing defensively. I can't remember the last time a team scored a genuine, and I don't mean this as disrespectful, but I can't remember the last time a team came against us and scored a genuinely quality goal. Maybe I'm missing one off the top of my head, but all of them just seem to be from our own mistakes. And I'm not just saying that because it's Liverpool, and I'm not trying to like sugarcoat it or kind of like be disrespectful in any sort of way to opposition teams. But the vast majority of goals, at least, that we concede are for our own mistakes. They're not through like good passages of play. They're not through wonder strikes. They're not through anything along them lines. It's almost like we just go, yeah, we'll just let them play for a bit, and then we'll concede a stupid goal that was easily preventable. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I can't think the last time off the top of my head that was the case. I really, really can't. Liverpool's last 3 games: Liverpool 4-2 Bournemouth, Newcastle 3-2 to Liverpool, and obviously 1-0 to Liverpool against Arsenal. We need to stop leaking goals and stop making silly errors. Completely agree with you. I would I want a CDM with Maka, Soboslai, and Gravenberch. The player needs to Wharton or Belieber. I'd want more. I want Wharton next year. Next summer, go all in for Wharton. Take Gahey in January, and then come back to Palace in the summer and take Adam Wharton. It's time to move. It's time to go. And there's going to be no better place for you, my friend, than Liverpool Football Club. I said this on the stream that I did the other day. Adam Wharton is the direction to go in. Adam Wharton is the direction to go in my personal opinion. I would like Mark Gay in January. We need additional winger. Why Chiesa not in the UCL squad? I know it's a bit of a strange one, the Chiesa situation. It really, really is. I don't know. I genuinely don't know for sure about the Chiesa situation, and I'm pretty sure, like I say, we are probably going to go back in for Gahey in January. It'll probably be somewhere in the region of 15 to 20 million pounds that we get him for. Assuming that obviously Palace decides to cash in on him this time. They said that they want to. They said that they don't want to lose him on a free. They want to get something out of the deal. But whether or not they stick to that word or not, or whether or not Glasner throws another tantrum, I don't know. But we shall see. We shall see. Is Soboslai going to play right back / centre mid? Is he our Hungarian Swiss Army knife? Soboslai play freely now in the deep line midfield. He could be like a bit of a James Milner / Jordan Henderson type. He really, really could. He's got the athletic ability to play that position, and he's got the passing range. You know, like him or not, the one thing that obviously Trent had playing there was passing range. Soboslai has that. Not maybe as much or as consistent as Trent, but he has that weapon in his arsenal. And I think we could use it very well against Burnley, to be honest with you. I think depending on Frimpong's fitness, depending on Conor Bradley's fitness, I think we could use Soboslai in that position at least for one more game. At least for one more game. In that area. Do you rate Konate, and will he sign a new contract? I like him. I really do. I know he can have his moments, and I know that sometimes he basically needs a slap to wake up every now and again. But I do like him. I do rate him. But as I say, with every player that doesn't want to play for Liverpool, if you don't want to play for the Reds, then get out. If you're not going to sign a new deal, if you're basically dangling that kind of carrot in front of us to maybe make Real Madrid make you a better offer, if you're using us to get a better offer out of Real Madrid, if you're using Liverpool in the slightest, get out. Simple as that. We move on. We bring in Gahey and then we go for another centre back in the summer. Simple as that. Do you like partnership of Maka and Gravenberch in a double pivot? I do. I do think it somewhat works. I think it will work for at least another season. And then, like I say, next season, we may need to look at changing things around. Maybe the legs have gone. Maybe there's certain things that we may need to look at in our midfield. But I like it for now. I think it can definitely work. It didn't necessarily work on Sunday against Arsenal, but Curtis Jones coming in certainly changed the game and was a real game-changing moment. And fair credit to both Curtis Jones for playing well and for Arne Slot for noticing it on Sunday. Made a really bold change there. Big up Niche fans in the building. Lovely to have you here, my bro. I stand corrected. You got Isak. You are effectively invincible now. I mean, there are weaknesses. There are weaknesses, I will admit, but yeah, I agree. We are very, very strong, and yes, I'm big up for acknowledging you standing corrected, as you say. Not many people do that, but I don't hold it against people. Like, I hold it against people if they like come out and claim, "Oh no, I was right, and then don't acknowledge when they were wrong. That's the only time I will acknowledge it. Like, it's fine, it's cool. Big up Ozan, my brother. How you doing? Well, my bro. I can't even speak. Yeah, hope you're doing well, my bro. Lovely to hear from you, and lovely to have you on board with us. What you up to, my dude? Let me know. If you get Gahey and Believer / Wharton, it's unfair. It's not unfair, my bro. Not unfair. Justified. Will Ekatike and Isak are similar height, and if they play some same time, they might run for the same ball. I'm sure they will have a better understanding and better communication than that. I'm sure they'll have better understanding and better communication. It's going to be interesting to see how Slot balances it. But yes, I cannot wait to see them both in action. News fan, we need to prove ourselves and win trophies. There you go. All about the success on the pitch. I feel like there needs to be a limit on how many of the best players one team can have. Not sure about that one, man. Not sure about that one, considering it's just about how good you make them players. How many times have you had a completely unknown player play brilliantly for a club? Brighton do it seemingly every year. They always find some diamond in the rough that no one's ever heard of and turn him into an incredible player. N'Golo Kante, when he went to Leicester, did anybody really know about N'Golo Kante before then? Not really, I don't think. Best players, it's just about how successful you are on the pitch. It's all about whether or not you can entice them to play for your club. So many different factors, my bro. If Virgil van Dijk gets injured, we will struggle. A little. I don't want to think about it. Really don't want to think about it. Big up Reluctant Gamer. How you doing? Well, my bro. Lovely to have you here with us. Hope you are good, my friend. And yeah, let me know what you are up to as well, my bro. Let me know where you're watching from and what you're up to today. Players should have ratings similar to the EAFC system. Clubs shouldn't be able to hoard all of the best players. I don't necessarily agree with that. What kit is that? I just got home, buying kit today. Gonna upload later, waiting for PSG delivery. Nice. This is Germany kit. It is a Germany top. I can't remember what year it's from now off the top of my head. I think it's like 21 or 18. Maybe even before that. I can't remember. I think with it being gold, it might have been the year they won the World Cup. I genuinely can't remember what year it is. It's simply slipped my mind. But all I know is it's Germany, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, to be honest. So yeah, big up. I don't trust Leone and Gomez and Canate and Leone. I mean, to be fair, we haven't really seen Leone play. So, I certainly haven't anyway. You may have seen him when he was at Parma, but I've genuinely not seen Leone play, so I can't comment. And the only thing I don't trust Gomez and Canate on is staying fit. They're the only things I don't really trust either of them two on. So I can kind of see where you're coming from if you're talking about that aspect, but they're solid defenders. If they're fully fit and everything, they are solid defenders. There's no doubt about it. Liverpool isn't being fair by buying all the best players. We are, because we're buying them. If we were taking them for free, then I think, there might be some sort of issue there. But we're at least putting the money down for them. Clubs are accepting the money, and we're giving them a good home and a good platform to thrive upon, and a good opportunity to win plenty of silverware, bro. It's all good. Big up everybody that's here. Lovely to have you on board with us this afternoon. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. All of that good stuff. And of course, get involved in the chat as well. All of that good stuff will make for great and interesting reading, as well as be appreciated by yours truly. So, I say thank you for all being here so far. You guys are absolutely freaking awesome. Who wants a league when one team dominates it for years, though? The Liverpool team needs to be broken up and the players distributed to other clubs. It's not going to be a French league, though, or a Scottish league. It's not going to be like that. The Premier League, like I say, Man City did it for years. No one really complained. All of a sudden, Liverpool are now doing it, and it's like it's a big deal. Even though beforehand, Liverpool were being ridiculed because they couldn't get deals like this over the line. All of a sudden, we don't spend last year. We only spent 10 million last year on Chiesa. So this is basically 2 summers worth of spending. 3 summers, really, if you consider that we didn't really spend much in the previous summer, and we still had 115 odd million that we were going to put down for Caicedo. That, of course, we didn't in the end because he rejected us. So realistically, this has been money that has been building and building and building for 3 seasons. This is 3 seasons worth of transfer windows that we've done in one. I don't make up the rules, kid. Just saying. Watching from home, when are the next Premier League games? Next week, international break. Next week we resume. I don't know if there's I doubt there's a Friday game. There's never normally a Friday game after the international break. Yeah, I don't think there's a Friday game next week, but it's definitely next week we resume. International break this week and next. Painful international break. I don't really pay attention to the international break. I couldn't care less about it. Painful. Long, drawn out, tedious, painful. Isak, Ekatike, Salah, Gakpo, Wirtz. Sorry, that's unfair. The FA should step in. I don't know if you're just trolling now, bro. I don't know. You're just trolling. I don't know what to say. Salah, when he was brought in, wasn't world class. He has become world class over time. Ekatike isn't world class, but has the potential to do so. Isak is world class. He could get into any team across Europe and the world. Gakpo, I wouldn't say is world class, but he is very, very good. And Wirtz obviously has time to prove. He's got to prove himself in the Premier League, but if he replicates the kind of form that he's shown in the Bundesliga and across European platforms as well during his time with Bayer Leverkusen, then he will no doubt be world class. A lot of money spent, yes, but to say it's unfair, it's not as if like other clubs could have came in for him or for any of them. They tried, they failed, they all chose Liverpool. Again, I don't make the rules. It's just the way that it is. It's just the way that it is. And to go on this whole thing of fairness is ridiculous to me, because there's no guarantee that Liverpool will win. There's no guarantee that Liverpool will win anything this season. Good chance of that happening? Yes, of course. Of course there is. But to sit there and say like it's unfair, I don't know, man. I kind of think you're a little bit trolling there. Who's going to be top goal scorer of the league this season, and who's going to get more goals? Isak, Ekitike, Salah from 1 to 3 in order. Oh, interesting. Top goal scorer of the season for the Premier League. I've said Haaland will. I said at the beginning of the season, Haaland will get a top goal scorer. So I think in the Premier League, Haaland will still be top goal scorer. Out of Salah, Ekitike, and Isak as to who's going to be getting more goals, I think it will be Isak, Salah, Ekitike. And that's just simply for the reason that I don't think Ekitike will get as much game time up front as what Isak will. So I'm kind of playing the percentages a little bit there. And I think Salah, the only thing I'm considering now is Salah, whether it's going to be 2 or 3. Because I think Salah, once he gets firing on all cylinders and once he gets up and running, and of course you've got to consider as well that Salah will be missing at least a month of the season through AFCON as well. I think Salah will get more assists than goals this season. That's kind of like my sort of prediction. So yeah, I'm predicting more assists than goals for Salah this season. Sorry, it's unfair, and deep down you know it is. It's not unfair, bro. It's not unfair. Like, if City were doing it, it would be annoying because it's City. Or if United were doing it, it'd be annoying because it's United. But you justify success by the amount you can spend. You justify how good you are at being a well-run club by what you do on the pitch and off the pitch. And it is what it is. What's your favourite kit you own besides the Liverpool kit? I like the AC Milan one that I've worn a fair few times of a couple of years ago. The AC Milan kit is nice. Dortmund shirt. You can't go wrong with a Dortmund shirt. I would probably say one of those two, to be perfectly honest. You can't go wrong with either one of those. Yes, first game is Saturday, 12:30. Arsenal, Nottingham Forest at home for Arsenal. Should be a good game, that. I'm hoping that Nottingham Forest can pull off something there, but with the way that they played against West Ham, I'm not really confident on Forest doing that, to be perfectly honest. As much as I would love it, as much as I would love Chris Wood, Nuno Espirito Santo masterclass, I'm not completely convinced on Forest getting something from that game, in all honesty. There are big problems at Forest. Big problems at Forest, man. I say, their ownership is crazy, and their manager is seemingly losing his patience, and Edu is seemingly at the centre of it. I don't like international matches until the actual tournaments start, like the Euros or the World Cup. I'm with you on that one, man. I am so with you on that one. I am so the same as you. I couldn't care less about Nations League. I couldn't care less about international friendlies. give me the World Cup, give me the Euros. I'm fine with that. But until then, I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less about any international friendly, any Nations League ridiculousness, anything like that. Leaving now because your team is unfair. Bye. I mean, we're not. We're not. And if you feel that way, I'd probably suggest going and finding another sport, maybe something like tennis or golf, where it's kind of, singular and there's not like a team aspect to it necessarily. But thanks for stopping by, my dude. Thanks for stopping by indeed. There's no guarantee Liverpool will win anything, but if they don't win anything, it will be a big fail. And they did pay nearly 500 million at least to win one cup. Is a must, and that might not be a successful one. Yeah, I feel like if it's just a Carabao Cup, that will obviously not be a success. And obviously no cup would make it even worse. And I think at that point, you would probably have to look at slot. I know that people will go, well, he just won you a Premier League title last year. And it's like, yes, but he had all the tools this season to go on and dominate in a way that Liverpool fans haven't seen before, in a way that Liverpool fans have never seen us, at least in this generation that I'm in, retain a league title, retain a Premier League. We definitely have not retained a Premier League, at least in the Premier League era. So, yeah, I agree with you. And it kind of leads into the question of multiple trophy successes for Liverpool, so we might as well talk about it. I said the other day on stream that I would just be happy with a Premier League title. And to an extent, I still believe in that because that Premier League title will mean so much to these players. It will mean so much to Liverpool fans because it will be number 21 and it will be us reclaiming our throne in English football, so to speak. We're not sharing it with Man United. We've overtaken United in that aspect. That would be amazing. But the more and more that I have thought about it, there needs to be another cup to accompany it. At the very least, there needs to be 2 cups. There needs to be at least 2 cups and a good run in the Champions League. If it's the Champions League and the Premier League, then absolutely phenomenal. But if it's the Premier League and Carabao Cup and we get to like the semi-final stages at the very least of the Champions League, I'm happy with that. If it's a Premier League and an FA Cup and we get to the semi-final stages of the Champions League, I'm very happy with that. So I think there needs to be 2 cups at least this year with how much we spent and what we've done. So yeah, I kind of have changed my opinion. I kind of slept on it a little bit, and yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by by what could potentially happen this season. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for this international break to be over. I can see Isak in a Liverpool shirt for the first time. I can continue to see the development of Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez, all our new players. It will be hopefully amazing. Example, only Carabao Cup. Yeah. Sorry, I kind of stepped on your point without bringing it up. Sorry, bro. I think Ekitike will be top goal scorer. Isak missed a couple of games and not guaranteed to start next game or after. Yeah, there will be some building up of Isak's fitness. There's no doubt about it, which could take some time. I don't think he'll complete games in 90-minute fashions the way that he probably would at Newcastle. So I do think that there will be a period of time, maybe over the next month or two, where we are building Isak's fitness because he had no pre-season. So I get where you're coming from there, which could obviously benefit Ekitike. And obviously with Ekitike scoring 2 goals in his opening 3 games, that's big for him. But yeah, it's a decent shout. It's a decent question. Like I said, I just think game time is going to be so important for that question to be answered. And I think as we get to the busy Christmas period of the season, and especially towards the end of the season where the bigger Champions League games, because hopefully Liverpool do qualify for obviously the knockout stages of the Champions League, because we should. Maybe we do go far in the Carabao Cup as well. Maybe we do go far in the FA Cup as well. Those are the kinds of games in which rotation is going to be required. Ekitike could benefit from that, which could obviously help your case of Ekitike being the top goal scorer. But like I say, Isak as well is going to be looking at making an impact. And fingers crossed that does happen. Who would you play at left wing, Ekitike or Gakpo? I'd go with the more accomplished person in that position. I go with Gakpo. Ekitike is great, and there's no doubt about it that Isak won't be required to play every game. And like I say, for example, let's say that both Ekitike and Isak were fully fit going into let's take the first week of the season. Let's say that Isak did have pre-season, right? If I'm looking at that game of Burnley and then Atletico Madrid on the Wednesday, I probably would go Ekitike to start up front for Burnley, and then Isak start up front against Atletico Madrid. That's the way that I would play it. And I think as we go through the season, there are going to be scenarios that are similar to that, in which Ekitike probably will be the best bet to play up front in certain Premier League games, and Isak will be best to be left playing for the Champions League. You can still bring him on with like 20 minutes to go, and especially if, things aren't going great for Liverpool, you've obviously got him as a backup. But yeah, there are some good opportunities there and some good interchanges and ways to play around with the squad that we have. Will Wirtz come good? Absolutely, no doubt in my mind. Florian Wirtz will flourish. I think he just needs to get up with the speed of the Premier League. I think he needs to get up with the physicality side of the Premier League. But when he does, Florian Wirtz will shine. There's no doubt about it. Liverpool is fair. They just want to be best of the best. Absolutely, every team does. Well, at least the fan bases of every team wants to. Certain clubs may be happy with just achieving certain things, but for Liverpool Football Club, it's about being the best of the best. And the argument earlier about how it's unfair that Liverpool are buying all these great players, it's not our fault. It's not our fault that all the best players wanted to come to Liverpool. It's not our fault that Liverpool were willing to put down the serious money this year. It's not as if we're breaking any rules. We've sold good, and we've bought very, very well, and we've succeeded on the pitch as well. So it's not as if we're just throwing money out there and breaking rules. We have genuinely earned the right to do so. What trophies will Liverpool win? Like I say, bro, Premier League I think is there. I'm going to go as far as to say I think the Premier League we will win, and let's go with an FA Cup. Let's go with the FA Cup. FA Cup and Premier League. Let's go with a double. Let's go with the English double this year. As a Toon fan, I respect Liverpool's business. They've done in the right way. So it's just the way of going about it, isn't it? Like we've just been successful on the pitch, and it wouldn't have been possible without what Jurgen Klopp managed to achieve in Liverpool, without the years of, obviously, I would say, overachieving somewhat with what he had at Liverpool at certain times with Jurgen Klopp. Wouldn't have been possible without, obviously, much I hate to say it, because obviously I've berated them for years. Even the ownership of FSG at certain stages, they've not got everything right. They've not been perfect, but FSG have certainly laid down the marker this year, and we need to see more of that. We need to see improvements of that. We need to see them be consistent with that. But everybody's played their part, and it's all coming together right now. Michael Edwards, exceptional. Richard Hughes this year, brilliant. Like I can't fault the process. Now it's about the players delivering on the pitch. That is what we've got to look at now. Which game Isak will play, Burnley or Atletico Madrid or Everton or Palace? He'll play in all of them. I don't think he'll finish all them games. I don't think he may even start in all of those games. But I think we will see him against Burnley. We'll probably see him for a bit at Atletico. And we'll probably see him at Everton. I reckon he'll probably start his first game at either Everton or Palace. I reckon Ekitike probably starts for Burnley, and I think he'll start for the Atletico game as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if he starts against Everton, maybe gets a good 50 to 60 minutes, and then we bleed him in that way. Like I say, having no pre-season has hindered him a little bit. It's hindered him a little bit. We need Isak match fit and mental and physically ready. I'm sure he will be. I'm sure he will be mentally and physically ready because he's been wanting this move all summer. So I'm sure he's all there in terms of he's finally got everything off his back that he had at Newcastle. He wanted to move on from that and everything. So I'm sure he's relieved to get that stress out of the way and done with. And I'm sure now it's just about building that match fitness. So I've got no problems whatsoever with that side of his game. Is our games will be 4-3 games and is our game will be 4-3 games and entertainment. It could be a basketball scoreline. It could be a basketball game. We've proven on Sunday we can be controlled again. We showed it last season. We can be controlled. We can be controlling, should I say? We've shown that we have the potential and the possibility and the capabilities to control games. The problem with us is that sometimes we bore ourselves with how easy certain games can be, and then we fall asleep, and then we concede stupid goals, as we mentioned earlier. So I don't know. It could be anything with Liverpool. We could go from having controlling easy games to having games where, like you say, we're winning by 4-3, 5-4. Remember the Norwich game? Remember the Norwich game several years ago? Jurgen Klopp, 5-4. How crazy, topsy-turvy and mental that game was. And, you know, Christian Benteke knocking Jurgen Klopp's glasses off at the end of the game. Yeah. We shall see. We shall see. Isak is number 9. Who is number 14 at Liverpool? Oh, geez, I've completely forgotten. There's international break. I want to say... I just want to double check this just because I got this wrong because I'm embarrassed now. Federico Chiesa. I was going to say Chiesa. I genuinely was thinking Chiesa, and then I was like, but maybe he's a different number. I genuinely was like, it is genuinely Chiesa. And then I was like, but what if it's not? I was so scared it wasn't. This is why I shouldn't doubt myself. I should just go with my gut feeling and my gut instinct. I genuinely was like, it's Chiesa. I'm sure it's Chiesa. I'm 100% sure it's Chiesa. And then I was like, if it's not, I'm going to look like a total prick. I couldn't remember. I genuinely couldn't remember. Oh my God. I couldn't remember for definite. I had Chiesa on my mind. Ugh, that's terrible. That's poor from me. International break just kind of drains me and waters my mind. I was at Leeds United 0-0 with Newcastle. It was boring and no one would have scored for weeks. It wasn't the greatest game. I watched it on Sky. It wasn't great. And the aftermath of that game, Newcastle fans were blaming Isak. And I still get it to an extent why you would blame Isak. But the fact of the matter is that you still have had all summer long to replace Callum Wilson, and you didn't until like the eve of that game. That's on Newcastle. That's not on Isak. Your poor planning ruined the beginning of your season. Because let's face it, if you actually did have a striker, you probably would have got a minimum of 7 points from your opening 3 games. A minimum of 7 points from your opening 3 games, I think, if you had a striker. Instead, you've got 2 points from your opening 3 games. Not great, but the failure to bring in a replacement and not being able to somehow manage to replace Callum Wilson. I mean, it's Callum Wilson. It's not exactly like you were genuinely replacing 2 Isaks. You were replacing Callum Wilson, a guy who played only 350 odd minutes for Newcastle last season. I think any striker in that situation probably would have got you maybe at least a goal or 2 that could have tipped the scales in Newcastle's favour in at least one of the 3 games that was being played. But yeah, it wasn't a good advert for the Premier League. Let's put it that way, that game. I think 2 cups, Liverpool, Premier League and Domestic Cup is successful enough, but they want to get Champions League in the near future. Absolutely, we want to add a 7th one, but I'd be happy with that as well. Like I say, Premier League, Domestic Cup, as long as we have good runs as well, as long as we have good runs in both the FA Cup and Champions League, I'll be happy as well, or the Carabao Cup. Not so much the Carabao Cup, I couldn't really care less about that one as much, but at the same time, like, it would be nice still to assert our dominance even more in that competition with how many times we've won it. But if we had good runs in those competitions, that would still be great as well. We have the capabilities and the squad depth to do it, so that's fine as well. But like I say, Champions League is the main one. If we can have a good run in that competition, you know, if we get to like the semi-final or something and get knocked out again by PSG or, you know, by someone who's at least decent and deserving of it, then, you know, maybe Barcelona or something. If you get knocked out by like one of them kind of clubs, then I wouldn't be too disheartened by it. It would still be annoying. It would still be frustrating, yes, but if they deserved it on the day and they were just slightly better than us, but we gave them a good run for, well, their money, we shall see, man. We shall see. Next season, Isak will be top goal scorer for sure. Yeah, I just think the lack of preseason may have just hindered him this year from getting that golden boot. But I think take him a year to settle into Liverpool. I think, yeah, I can potentially see that happening too. Providing there's no big injury or anything, and hopefully there's not. I agree with you, man. I agree. Oh, that's between you two. I'll just leave that for you guys. We need Wirtz to pull the strings in the number 10 position. Like I say, I think once he gets up to speed with the physicality of the league and also the pace and intensity of the league, I have no doubt in my mind that Florian Wirtz will flourish in this league. Big up Jordan. I hope you're doing well, my bro. Guys, go and subscribe to Jordan Hyman's channel. He's doing some wonderful stuff over there. Go over there, show some love, show some support to my bro. Big friend of the channel. Big up yourself, my bro. Lovely to have you here with us. I hope you are doing good, my dude. We need Gakpo, Ekatike, Isak, Salah, Chiesa, Rio, and Dan to score goals. It would be good if Jadon Danns could. Don't know if we'll see a lot of him this season, but it'll be great if obviously we still could. Would be good, but yeah, I mean, Gakpo's already got a few assists under his belt. Ekatike has got a couple of goals and an assist, I believe. Isak, obviously, we need to build up his fitness. Salah, not been firing on all cylinders, but at least he has 1 goal and 1 assist to his name so far. Chiesa obviously scored that incredible goal against Bournemouth. And Rio, obviously, the incredible goal against Newcastle. We shall see how it goes, man. We shall see how it goes. But hopefully our attacking line just gels. I'm hoping our attacking line just gels. Will Bajcetic play? Probably in cup games, maybe, or unless there is big problems in the midfield in terms of injuries and that kind of thing. But yeah, I would imagine we probably won't see a lot of Bajcetic this year. Just unboxed my buying kit. Looks beautiful. authentic kit. Lovely, man. Bayern kit does actually look very nice this year. I'll give them that. Bayern kit does look very nice this year. Big up Luca. How you doing? Well, my bro, guys, go and subscribe to my bro Luca Talks Dons. Arsenal fan, but does a lot of MK Dons content these days, but does the occasional talk and breakdown of Arsenal. So if you want to expand your footballing horizons, go and subscribe to Luca. Show some love and support over to him on his channel. Big up to you, my bro. Lovely to have you here with us. And big up to everybody that is here. So, Daniel Levy, leaving Spurs as their chairman after 25 years. Big potential growth there and evolution for that of Tottenham Hotspur. Liverpool's trophy hunt, as we have discussed. 2 trophies. Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling. Is 2 trophies the minimum that Liverpool should be going for this season? And if so, what are those 2 trophies? Would it be okay for just a Carabao Cup and an FA Cup? Or does it need to be one major and one not so major, I guess, if some people want to call it out like that? Would it be okay with a Premier League and a Carabao? Would it be okay with a Premier League and an FA Cup? Would it be okay with a Carabao and a Champions League, or an FA Cup and a Champions League? Let me know what combination of trophies you think Liverpool should win. Maybe you think they should actually win it all. Maybe you think that they should go for the quad. I'm not saying quad just yet. But if Liverpool continue the way they have been doing, if Liverpool continue to grow and advance and progress, who knows? Maybe it could not be too far away before we are starting to have quad talks again on Liverpool Football Club. Like we were a few years ago. I still think that's a massive what-if story, you know. I still think, it's being 2 games away from winning the Premier League and the Champions League, as well as on top of the Carabao and the FA Cup. Being 2 games away from doing that is a massive what-if story. What could have potentially been from that? Interesting stuff, man. Would love to know. If there ever was a time where I could look into an alternate reality, that is the kind of reality specification that I'd be looking into. What would it have been like if Liverpool had won the quad that year? What would it have been like? Anyway, we'll never know. But it's interesting to think about. Next on the agenda, problems for Pep and City. Problems for Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. 3 points from their opening 3 games for Manchester City. A big win on the opening day against Wolverhampton Wanderers, 4-0, was followed up by an incredible defeat to Tottenham by 2-0. And then what played out on Sunday was a 2-1 loss to Wolves in incredible circumstances. Sorry, not Wolves, Brighton. Don't know why I said Wolves. I said Wolves earlier. That was my bad. Misspoke. What is going on with City? Because it doesn't look like it could get... It looks like it could get worse for them. It looks like it could get worse for Manchester City. And the reason I say that is because I look ahead at their next 2 fixtures. The Manchester derby, when we get back from the international break. Now, you may laugh at the fact that it's Man United, but let's be real. Man United tend to turn up in these kinds of games. They tend to turn up in these types of games. I completely forgot, by the way, that Champions League also now plays out on Thursday. I was just looking at City's fixtures just to make sure I got it right. and they're playing on Thursday rather than Tuesday or Wednesday. I've completely forgot that Thursday night in this scenario also has Champions League games in this new setup. So they're playing Thursday against Napoli at 8 o'clock. It's going to be a tough game for them as it is. But Manchester United await them 4:30 a week on Sunday. Massive Manchester derby. We know that United tend to turn up in the big games. It's the lesser games, with all due respect, that United tend to have difficulty with. And then the Napoli game. And then Arsenal away. Not at home. Away on the following Sunday. Oh dear. Oh dear. Manchester City could be in the mud before we get into the season properly. 3 points from their opening 3 games, and it's not inconceivable to think that United couldn't pull off a bit of a shock and win against City. It's not inconceivable that Arsenal at home can't beat this City side. Is time running out, or has time run out for Pep Guardiola? Has his time in the Premier League come to pass? Has he been let down by Manchester City? Has he just lost the hunger for it all now that he's achieved pretty much everything there is to achieve with Manchester City? Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling about this, because this is a very intriguing topic to discuss, a very interesting conversation to have. And like I say, it's not exactly like it's, one way or the other. But at the same time, it could be huge, because there's a big question mark to have over what is going on with City right now. Past few transfer windows, you may just given it the benefit of the doubt at the time with some of the players that they were signing. Players like Matheus Nunes, players like Mateo Kovacic, certain other players as well that haven't quite hit the mark. Jeremy Doku, Savio maybe. This transfer window has been different. This past transfer window has been a little different. But has the damage already been done? Are these players completely different to what Pep is used to? I don't know, man. I'm intrigued. I want to know more. Because we could be in a situation where City start off their Champions League campaign with a loss. And City also, 5 games into a season, only have 3 points. I don't think they will lose to United, but I also don't think they'll win. Just thinking of it now, obviously there is over a week left until that game happens, so my prediction could obviously change. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say that right now, if the game was like tomorrow, I'd be predicting a draw in that one. Simply for the reason that United play well in these types of games. United's problems aren't against the bigger clubs. United's problems are against the smaller ones, with all due respect, the lesser ones. So it isn't out the realms of possibility that United gets something in that game. So what exactly is the problem at Manchester City? Well, I look at their defence, there's a lack of pace. I look at their goalkeeper, I know they brought in Donnarumma. I think he's a good shot stopper. But playing out from the back, is this a sign that they are going to definitely go more direct now, Man City? Remains to be seen. Is Pep going to try and evolve it, change it, and will that evolution work? Remains to be seen whether or not that is the case or not. Don't necessarily think Donnarumma is the best with playing out from the back, at least in comparison to an Edison. But with the way that James Trafford started his City career, it's not exactly like he's much better either. So we shall see. Midfield is still being run through. Not the biggest of problems. And obviously with Rodri back, it's going to be interesting to see if he can pick up where he left off. And the forward line is still somewhat boring and somewhat predictable. Not amazing. Not amazing whatsoever. But is that a recruitment problem? Yes. Is that a Pep Guardiola problem? Partially. I don't know if City are just planning for life after Guardiola. I don't know if this is just an entire thing of we're bringing in players that don't quite match up with Guardiola, but we've got someone in mind who they would actually fit. I don't know. I genuinely don't know, because it's been very strange the way that City have conducted their business over the past few years. And like I say, I gave them the benefit of the doubt at the time, but in hindsight, the players just haven't worked. The players just haven't worked. They've lost some key players. As much as I don't rate Kyle Walker, the one thing that I've always said about Kyle Walker is that he has pace. And that pace got him and City out of a bunch of problems and situations over the years that they were successful. They don't have that. Every time you run at John Stones, every time you run at Rico Lewis, Mateus Nunes, Ruben Diaz, they look terrified. They look scared. I think there are serious problems going on at City, more than what we realise right now. I don't know if it's anything to do and linked with the 115 situation. I don't know what the situation or thing is. Maybe there is a lack of fight and mentality or a loss of mentality from Guardiola. Maybe it's a loss of mentality from some of the main bulk of players in that squad, or maybe the players just aren't good enough to replace the likes of KDB. Obviously Haaland, Guerrero, fine there, but you're looking at the winger situation. They're good on the eye, but they're not good in terms of output. There's some issues there, man. There is some genuine issues there with Manchester City and with Pep Guardiola. And like I say, we could be going into a scenario where 5 games into the season, they have only got 3 points. That could potentially be the case. 3 points out of 5, which would likely be the worst start Pep Guardiola's ever made to a season. It probably already is the worst start Guardiola's made to a season. And yet that's what we could be looking at. It could potentially happen. It's bizarre, man. It's absolutely bizarre, isn't it? Absolutely bizarre. Would we ever have thought that this would happen? Because a lot of us had City down to be top 2 this year, myself included. I thought they would finish second this year. And they still could. They very well still could. But I'd be concerned still. there is still an element of concern that maybe their transfer window was overhyped. Maybe the players have been overhyped. And maybe the manager has just lost interest, mentality, all of that kind of thing that made him world class. Maybe he's just lost a bit of hunger for the game, a bit of desire for the game. Maybe that is the case going forward with Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. Question is, does City sack him? Does he walk of his own accord? Or does he at least see it out till the end of the season? You'd like to think that he's probably earned the right to leave of his own accord, which means that he could go whenever he wanted. But you never know. You never know. Maybe Guardiola just needs a bit of time out and a break from the game. Maybe that could be the case as well. And again, it goes back to an old friend, a frenemy, if you like, in Jurgen Klopp. A lot of people, when he left Liverpool, mocked him. When he came out and said, mentally, I'm tired. I'm just tired of all of this. And he left. A lot of people mocked Jurgen Klopp for that. They're like, oh, you're a football manager and you're tired. Oh. So he was exhausted. Now, like usual with anything that Jurgen Klopp used to say, with a lot of things that Klopp used to say, in hindsight, we've actually seen that mental fatigue can take its toll on managers. And maybe, again, that is what we are seeing here with Pep Guardiola. Maybe that is what we are seeing with Pep Guardiola in this scenario. Maybe there's a case of mental fatigue and tiredness and things of that nature that is happening. And maybe it will come out in the future as being something along them lines. Maybe that will be the case as well. And I wonder if the same people that were mocking Jurgen Klopp for saying those kind of things may mock Pep Guardiola in the same way. I doubt it. But for consistency value, I have to obviously ask that question. A lot of intrigue here. A lot of intrigue there. A lot of intrigue everywhere. But we shall see. We shall see what the future holds for Manchester City and Pep Guardiola. But yeah, there's something definitely not right, in my opinion, with City, with Guardiola. And like I say, it doesn't look like it's going to get any easier. Man United up next. Manchester derby, Sunday, 4:30. A week on Sunday, that should be actually. A week on Sunday, 4:30. And then the following week, Arsenal away from home. Again, another 4:30 kickoff on a Sunday. And sandwiched in between, Napoli. Champions League. When the Champions League kicks off for another year, another season. It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interessante. We shall see how that all kicks off. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Anyway, we're going to call it there. We are going to call it there. Big up to everybody that's joined us. Thank you, everybody that has been in the chat, that has been watching. You guys are absolutely awesome. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out if you haven't already, and subscribe if you are new. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated. Like I say, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being in the chat. Absolutely love and respect to each and every single one of you. As always, I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks live stream, and I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.